Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing today on this wonderful Sunday evening? Sure, a lot of you are probably watching football, kick back at home, chilling, or whatever y'all doing. So, just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. It's crazy that it's right around the corner, man. Like I remember when December 1st had just arrived. Now we're almost into Christmas. I remember being a kid, man, and we wish Christmas would hurry up and get there. It was like Christmas would move so slow. I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? The heck with it, man. Just give me Christmas Eve. And that even started coming slow. So I was like, man, this sucks. But like being older, man, Christmas comes quick. But aside from that, just wanted to get on and talk to you guys a little bit about a lot of these vehicles that we buy that have been sitting for a very long time. Not only Ford Escorts, but for any other vehicle. And what actually happens when we get these vehicles and they've been sitting for a while, and of course they won't start because it could be anything. It could be no fire, no fuel. 9 times out of 10, though, it has a lot to do with the fueling system, simply because the fuel sits in the tank for so long, 5, 10, 12, 15, 20 years, however long. And what happens is the fuel will tarnish. Once the fuel tarnishes, it's like it's very toxic, and it's the chemicals in it, man. It just tears up. It just tears up a fuel pump assembly. If you ever pulled a fuel pump assembly out that has tarnished over and just started to eat up the fuel pump, eat up the fuel sending unit, eat up the wiring, then you know what I'm talking about. Some of you do, some of you don't. But I'm sure you guys will get that experience as you go along messing with these Ford Escorts and stuff like that, or any car of any kind, really. So the thing about it is, when you have that going on, the best thing to do is go ahead and pump that tank out. Take that old fuel out of that tank, replace the fuel pump assembly. Don't try to repair it. We've had people try to repair a fuel pump assembly. It's not worth it. The stuff is cheap enough today. You can just go get one from the parts store, brand new. I think they're like, depending on what kind you get, they're like $100, $150, something like that. You know, they're not bad at all. And it's the whole entire fuel pump assembly. You just drop it in, clamp it, put your lines on it, wire it up. Well, not wire it up, plug it in, and you're good to go. But yeah, don't try to repair the fuel pump assembly. It's just no point. It's just not even cost effective at that point. You've wasted more time trying to repair it. So just go ahead and replace it at that point. And so yeah, go ahead and replace the fuel pump assembly and then pump that fuel out of the tank. I'm gonna tell you a mistake that I made. So I dipped a rag in that old. I had a Ford Escort I had gotten. This was a while back. I had dipped a rag in the tank, pulled the rag out, lit the rag up, and lit on fire. And I was like, oh shit, the fuel is still good. I can still use it. Yeah. So the car fired up on it. Believe it or not, the car actually fired up on the fuel. It ran great. Didn't misfire, didn't pop, nothing. I took the car down the road, stuff like that, and all that. It was fine. Let the car sit, for a little while. I mean, not even a year. It may be set a few months. Go back to crank it up, to move it, because I hadn't cranked it in a while. Go to crank it up, won't start. I was like, that's strange. What's going on? Didn't hear fuel pump priming or nothing. I was like, what's going on back there? Pull the fuel pump out. Sure enough, man, that thing had tarnished bad. It ate up that fuel pump assembly, ate the fuel pump up. This was a brand new fuel pump assembly. It ate it up, man, to the point where it was just trash, pretty much. Luckily, it was still under warranty, so they actually replaced it for no cost, so which was cool. I actually knew the people at the parts store, so they looked out for me, because of course I had no idea that was going on. So of course you look in a tank and you really can't. These Escorts got black tanks. A lot of your cars got black plastic tanks. Some of your vehicles still have the old metal galvanized tanks, but Ford Escorts from 91 through 90. Actually, as a matter of fact, as Ford Escorts anywhere from 91 to 2003 have plastic tanks. They're black plastic tanks. Now, the Escorts from about 81 to 89 still had the old metal tanks in them. But A black fuel tank, you look down in there, you can't really see what the fuel looks like. You know what I mean? It's hard to really tell. It has tarnished fuel has a very, very funny smell to it. But me being fooled, I was like, well, still flammable, man. Hell, I can still run it. Let me tell you what, that was a mistake that I made. So I basically sent that old nasty tarnished fuel from the fuel pump through the fuel lines and to the injectors. Once that car sat and that tarnished fuel ate up the injectors, it messed up the coils in the injectors, it messed up the fuel filter I just put on, and it messed up the brand new fuel sending unit. So I had to start all over again. That was not fun. So my biggest advice to everybody that gets these older, it don't matter what year it is or how old it is. Some of your Escorts are anywhere from 20 to 30 years old now. If you get them, my best advice to you is to pump that fuel tank out. Do not try to run the vehicle with that old tarnished fuel. Pump that gas out of there because it's no good. It's junk. It's garbage. Now, I've seen some cars that have sat for a long, long time and the fuel pump assembly was not ate up. And it didn't have any gas in it either. I don't know if they run the gas out of the car and just it sat, or somebody pumped the fuel out of it. I don't know, but it sat for a long time. And lo and behold, I put fuel in it. Fuel pump still worked. Cranked it up and fired. Ran fine. Ran like forever like that. But some cars you don't get so lucky. And the last thing you want to do is send that tarnished fuel up here to the injectors, lock them up, and then of course they won't spray no fuel in the motor, and you turn it over, and it don't fire because you have no fuel. It's not going to fire because you don't have any fuel to hit them spark plugs. So this is simply what I did. So I could have easily went and bought a a fuel siphoning pump to pull the fuel out. But I had some extra fuel pumps laying around that I pulled off of other setups, some Escorts I didn't build over the years and stuff, and I just held on to them just in case I may had used one to try something to see if I can get a car to start or something like that. So I just held on to them, and luckily I did because I ended up making my own fuel siphoning pump. So this is basically what I did. I'll show y'all. Alright, so basically this is an old 190 LPH Walbro fuel pump that I had in my red Escort, as everybody knows, is Raphael. When I changed to E85, I just pulled this out and put it in my little fuel pump box and just held on to it. So basically all I did, man, was just put, some terminals on it, positive, negative, as you can see there. I put a few holes on it. I can't even talk tonight. Fuel hose. Put a few holes on it, and then I just ran. I made some long leads. That way I could hook it to a battery or whatever I need to hook it to. A battery. A battery that's in the trunk or up under the hood, or a battery that I have, just laying around. I can just basically clamp it on, kind of like that battery I got right there, just kind of chilling. But yeah, this right here should be long enough to reach from the tank to wherever you need it to go. I think it's I can't remember how long this wiring is, but it's long enough. If I have to, I can always extend it. Just cut it off, extend it, put some butt connectors on and stuff like I did here. Basically just put 2 butt connectors right there to make it longer. And then I've got alligator leads, they can just clamp on the battery post and it'll fire the pump up. Stick this pump down in the tank, stick it all the way down in there inside the vessel part where the actual fuel pump goes. You got a vessel you got I call it a vessel, but it's an area where the fuel pump will actually sit down in the tank. And I just put this right down in there and just hook it up and let it pump that fuel out. Make sure the fuel pump that you use has some type of screen on it. So that's got a screen on it right there. So you don't want nothing to get up in this. If you ain't got no screen, trash and stuff like that, trash and dirt and stuff will get up in there and ruin that fuel pump quickly. It won't take no time at all. So just make sure whatever you decide to use, fuel pump, whatever, just make sure that you have a screen on the end of it so you can trap the trash from going inside the pump and you save the pump. and it'll be a lot happier with a screen on it. And another thing that I made also was, so this is basically the factory harness fuel inject. This is basically the factory fuel pump harness for an Escort anywhere from 91 through 96. You simply just plug this in, and I basically take these two leads right here and and touch any type of battery. If I have a 12-volt battery just laying around, I can use, and or you can use like a Milwaukee or DeWalt 18-volt battery, drill impact or drill battery, just to see if the fuel pump will run. This is like a little fuel pump tester that I made up. You basically just plug it right into the factory fuel pump harness, and you take these two leads here and you touch your positive, so you see where I marked the positive wire, and then you got negative, and you just touch them on the battery and see if the fuel pump runs, and if it runs, you're good to go. If not, you got to get rid of it. But so I'm sure y'all are probably like, all right, well, which wires? Because yeah, this fuel pump, this harness has actually, how many wires we got here? 1, 2, 3. Looks like 3, and looks like we got 6 wires there, right? Yeah, got about. Let me make sure. I don't want to tell y'all wrong. Hold on, give me a second. Let me try to see. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like we got 6 wires there, and that in this 6 wires in this female plug here, this female harness. So yeah, the wires that you're going to use to fire the fuel pump to see if to test to see if the fuel pump is running, it's going to be these 2 wires right here. You got 2 blues, right? You're going to have 2 blues, and both of those blues are going to have brown marks on them. So you take these 2, and those are going to be your power. And then you have 2 black wires. You have a black wire with some brown spots and a bare black wire. And you're going to take those 2, and those are going to be your negative. And again, you see how I always mark my positives with red tape just to verify polarity. Some stuff, polarity doesn't really matter. It don't matter which way it goes, but some stuff is polarity specific. So you wanna actually wire it the way the polarity is supposed to be. So, but yeah, again, for the fuel pump tester, man, this is it's two blue wires. 2 blue wires with little brown dots on them, and that's your positive. And then you got one black wire with brown dots, and then you got a black wire with no dots at all. It's just bare, and that's going to be your negative wire. And then you just simply take and tie them together. I use butt connectors, tie them together with butt connectors, and then just got some two flying leads here, and basically just touch them positive, negative. If the fuel pump runs, it's good. If it doesn't, then it's no good. This is basically just to troubleshoot. Like, let's say if you got a car that won't start, you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you're like, damn, is the fuel pump even running? You can what you can do is let's say for instance, like a GT from 91 through 96, the GT, when you cut the key on, it doesn't prime. So what happens is the fuel pump doesn't start running until you start cranking the car up. And then let me show y'all real quick. So on the VAF, the VAF has a connector in here that actually makes contact with the control board inside here, and it actually fires a fuel pump when the vehicle is turning over, because it's pulling that door open. And when it pulls that door open, it causes that pin to close the circuit for the fuel pump so it'll come on. So let's say you're trying to test that, and of course you're trying to prime it and see if it's coming on or not. You can do one of 2 things. You can go to that VAF and just push that pin over to see if see if the fuel pump runs, and or you can just hook this up, make you one of these, hook this bad boy up, touch the battery with it, and see if the fuel pump runs, and that way you eliminate a problem. Or let's say, just for instance, you're at the junkyard or something, man, if you want to just grab a fuel pump assembly just to see if a car run, you know, before you buy a new one or something like that. You know, I've done that before, and you can do that and just plug this in, you know, have it on the bench, have an assembly like right on the bench, plug it right in, boom, you know, touch your battery. If it runs, cool. If not, then you know it's no good. So the second thing is I made a little injector tester too. So this is actually for a Bosch. So this is for all the Escorts with like Bosch injectors, or any Bosch injector for that matter. This will fit like a Bosch injector. Because the 1.9, the 2.0, and I believe the ZX2 have Bosch injectors. So you just simply plug this right in, and it has a positive and negative as well. Of course, your red, and I think your red, yeah, on this one, I believe the red is going to be positive, and this here is going to be negative. And you just plug it into the injector, touch it on the battery post, and listen to it click. Because the injector has a relay inside of it. So when it's running, it's clicking, it's opening and closing like that, click, 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 click. And that's what's letting the fuel come in the cylinder. So if they stick open or stick closed, they're no good. But, you know, of course, if they're alternating back and forth, then yeah, they're working good. But but yeah, so yeah, if you got an injector that's clicking, then you know it's working. If you got an injector that is not clicking at all when you touch it, when you put direct power on it, you know that injector is no good. So I've had those before. I've had fuel injectors that worked. I'm sorry, I've had fuel injectors that didn't work. I couldn't get the car to start up, pull the injectors out. Sure enough, plug it into this, test it on the battery. No click, no nothing. So put another one in there, clicked fine. I put that set of injectors in there, car ran great. The 4 injectors I tested that clicked, car ran fucking phenomenal. But of course the injectors that I pulled out, none of them clicked at all. So they were just trash. Now, you don't really run into that problem with injectors a lot. I know I haven't run into injector problems a whole lot on a vehicle for a no start and stuff like that. But it's just good practice, man. It's just really good practice to check this stuff when you have a vehicle, Escort, or any other vehicle that's been sitting for a long time, and you want to try to check to see what's working and what's not, so you can figure out how to get the car to run again. You know, this is going to be stuff for your fuel system, to test your fuel pump there, and to test your injectors, stuff like that. You know, and it's simple stuff, man. Like I say, it just, you know, it doesn't take long to make one of these. Like I say, I just cut this off of another car in the junkyard, and this is the ECU harness that goes to the fuel pump itself. That's just a simple injector pigtail I cut off, and then I put, you know, extended wires on it so I can run it to a battery or whatever I'm doing. Same thing here. I just took an old fuel pump that I had laying around, made some terminals for it, positive, negative, and got some alligator leads so I can clamp it on some battery posts and to see if it, and to pump the fuel out of the tank. So I just want to get on and share that with y'all. You know, I'm making this stuff up, and I was like, I'll do a video on it, you know, so everybody can understand, you know, especially when it comes to these Escorts that we get that have been sitting for a long time in somebody's backyard, in the woods, you know, even in the garage, you know. I mean, the fuel's going to tarnish regardless because it's sitting in the tank, you know, and it's just kind of sitting there. So, you know, and the fuel, the ethanol and stuff in fuel today, you know, it's got a lot of moisture in it, man, and it sits for a while. You know, that fuel is trash. You know it's trash. So like I told you guys, I learned the hard way, man. Getting that, you know, starting that car up on that bad fuel, and you know, it ruined the injectors, it ruined the fuel pump, and it ruined the fuel filter. So yeah, man. So just remember, if you get a car, this is what I'm working on now. That I got recently. I want to say I got this last summer. I think, yeah, I think I got it last summer. This car is actually for sale, so I'm going through it and checking some stuff so I can get it going, get it running, and then we're going to sell it. So real quick, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but hold on, let me get my light. Grab my light. Oh, so there's a fuel pump assembly right there. I can see, as you can see, I got the back seat out. There's that harness, right? There's that plug I was telling y'all about. So that's the same plug. Oh, that's the same plug that I just showed y'all up on the bench, right here. And of course, this just, you know, this just runs along the harness, about the harness in the car that comes from the ECU, and it plugs right into the factory fuel pump harness. So I made that to test the fuel pump, see if it works or not. But there's your fuel pump assembly. You got 4 screws, 4 Phillips head screws for the cover plate there. Then once you pop the cover plate off, you'll have 2 fuel lines held on by little plastic clips. Pop those plastic clips off, and then it's a lock ring on the fuel pump assembly top. You just pop that, you know, take and tap that lock ring. It's like a lock ring. It locks in place. You just take and you tap the lock ring off of it, and I can't remember if it goes clockwise or counterclockwise, but you tap it, you know, with a flat blade screwdriver or something that you can get on the little tabs, so you can tap it and turn it off of there, and it pops up, and then you just pull the fuel pump assembly out of there. So yeah, that's basically how you do that. So if anybody's got any questions on that, let me know, and I can definitely walk y'all through pulling the fuel pump out. Can't even talk tonight. Pulling the fuel pump out of one of these Escorts, man. This is how the 91 through 2003 are set up. You just pull the back seat up, and there's your fuel pump right there. So nice. Now the 81 through 89, you actually have to drop the tank for. I have an 88 and I have an 86. And no, I'm sorry, I have 87 and an 86, and I had to do a fuel pump in my 86, and I had to drop the tank. So yep. So that's basically that's basically the fuel pump assembly here for 91 through 96 Escort GT, and 97 through 2003 Escort as well, whether it be Escort LX or 2-point SBI, ZX2. Yeah, all the fuel pumps are set up this way. So just remember, when you get a car that's been sitting a while, man, just make it a good practice to change that fuel pump that old fuel out of the tank, and then change your fuel filter. Don't try to run the car on that nasty fuel. I'm warning you right now. You can't say I didn't warn you. You cannot say I didn't warn you. So don't run that car on that old gas. So your fuel filter, of course, for your Escorts is right there. Y'all can see that. It's right. It's basically like, there it is. I don't know if y'all can see that good or not. It's hard. It's got so much stuff in it. The fuel filter is like right there where my finger's pointing. Right against the firewall. So kind of like to the down on the master cylinder is going to be on the left side of the master cylinder on the lower end. So there's your master cylinder right there, and then there's your fuel filter. So basically down and to the left. Oh, there it is, right there. I don't know if you can see it better this way, but there you can see the top line on it. But yeah, that's your that is your fuel filter. That's the location of it, and it has the 2 little plastic clips on the top line, and on the bottom line, just pop them off, and then that clamp is holding it in place. You just take a flathead screwdriver, 5/16 or an 8mm socket, and you can take the clamp loose to take the fuel filter off. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope this was helpful. I hope I was detailed enough. I try to be as detailed as possible. If anybody's got any questions or they're confused or, you know, don't understand what I'm saying, feel free to reach out to me. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'll help anybody that needs help with these cars. Feel free to reach out to me. I have no problem helping anyone, and especially on something like this, because this is like, I mean, I've been buying Escorts pretty much all my life. A lot of them been sitting still for long periods of time. And I've had to go in and go through the fuel system. Sometimes I had to go through the ignition system to get it fired, stuff like that. So I've been through it from the nose to the tail. So trust me, man, I've been through it. So if anybody's got any questions, man, feel free to hit me up. You know, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everybody that's been liking, subscribing, and got me over 500 subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. Couldn't have done it without you. So that's going to conclude this video, everybody. So hope everybody has a, like I said, I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and has a very safe and blessed holiday. Merry Christmas to everybody. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Again, if you guys got any questions, feel free to hit me up. Again, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All right. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.